So what brought you back to the United States after that experience?
The beginning of the podcast, I talked about this pattern. Okay. 73, 83, 93.
Okay, so now we're in 93. Okay.
Right. And this pattern hadn't occurred to me back then. I'm telling you, this pattern has just occurred to me about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're heading into 2023, right?
I know. Well, check this out. I don't want to, we'll talk a little bit about that because I'm ADD, right?
Yeah.
93, there was a recession in the UK. The European Union joined Britain around that time. Huge changes. I became unemployed. The company I worked for let go of a lot of people. I was a sheet metal worker at Airflow Streamlines. I'm picking up my toolbox. I'm throwing it back in my car. I'm now unemployed. Unemployment benefits out there, that doesn't pay that much. And check this out. Out of all my friends, I made the most amount of money.
Wow.
I used to be the guy that had the most amount of money. I had cars. Out of all my friends, I was the only one with a car.
So you were living a pretty good life.
I was,
at
man.
Like 20.
Yeah,
right?
I was doing all right, and I made money. And I'll take all my neighborhood friends out on the town. I'd give them all £10 each because I wanted them to have fun. £10 would go far.
So everybody loved to hang out with Rav, right? Because Rav had the money.
I loved hanging out with them too.
Yeah.
I wanted to go out with people, and have fun with those folks.
Yeah.
And I had a good coworker. He's a comedian, man. I wish you could meet him. His name is Ross Goosey, and he's just super funny to hang out with. But he lives on a very posh part of Northampton, very upscale. Okay. And it's kind of funny because when I went to his place, there used to be a TV show back in the 80s. You remember you probably don't know this, but there's a show called Dallas and Dynasty. It was like a soap opera.
Was it like in Texas?
Yeah, it was based around Texas, but I don't know where Dynasty was based off of, but it was called... I
remember Dynasty.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
So, or Falcon Crest. That was another show.
Okay.
Falcon Crest, right? Whatever. We used to watch those shows because my dad used to make me record it, and I'm doing that action because back then the VCRs used to
I remember that. Yeah. I remember those.
So I went to my friend's...
All the millennials what are you guys talking about?
I know. I went to my friend Ross's house and I was like, whoa, looking at it, it's like, man, your house is like Falcon Crest. It was just so, to me, it was very posh, right?
Yeah.
Really, really nice. We've never seen anything like that. So remember, I'm living in a rough part of Northampton, lumber tubs, the London overspill. Now I'm in a different part of Northampton, seeing a different side completely.
Yeah.
Upscale, looks really nice. And I loved his mom. His mom was awesome. And
so let's talk about that. That's the first time you ever saw a contrast to what you grew up in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What did that do to you?
I wanted to be that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to live that way. I knew that, I made them. I didn't realize that at the time. I really didn't. But looking back, I was like, man, I made the most amount of money. I used to take all my friends out in the town. I had the cars, right? And I was and in my living in a bubble. But the moment I stepped out and seen how other people lived, I was like, man, I kind of live like that. I like the fact that it looks nice, comfortable. Man, it was just major difference, in how people lived. And so that part of Northampton is a very upscale, posher part of Northampton. Daventry, Bugbrook, these areas, that are on the outskirts of Northampton. But,
so those are the suburbs.
Suburbs, yeah. So where we grew up, being the London overspill, every other house is boarded up, burnt out. You hear a lot of stories of people's houses being broken into while people are sleeping in their houses. There was a thing that was going on back then in I don't know if it still does now, but back then people used to break into people's houses, these crazy guys, and take a shit on the carpet in the front room.
Like leave their mark, basically.
Leave their mark. Yeah, they used to do that. While the people are sleeping upstairs.
That's crazy.
It happened to my friend, and he'd come to work the next day. He goes, dude, this is kind of like normal. Ecton Brook area, Thorpelands area, these areas that were like, it was rough, man. Yeah. Wow.
So now you go to your friend's house. You see that there's a different
level of affluence. Yeah.
Yeah. And you want it now. So you kind of got the drive was like, or the fire was lit up to you for a better life.
Absolutely.
What happens after that?
Yeah. Adversity, right? So we're now unemployed, making £1.50 an hour on government benefits. At that time, I had a really awesome lady friend, and now we have high self-esteem that's built off this artificial wealth that I thought I had. That's all gone. I get into a crazy car crash, right? I used to have what's called RS 3.0 X-Pac Capri. Yeah, right. It's a badass car.
So it's a fast car.
It was awesome, man. Yeah. And for a young, I think I was 19 or 20 years old at the time. I was 20. It was way too powerful for someone like me, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have
someone with no fear.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't have insurance on it.
Oh wow.
And that my lady friend at the time, that that young girl's dad, he found out and he gave me such a bollocking, he gave me a real hardcore telling off. Like, I got the insurance application put through. The day I got into the car crash was the same day that the policy was delivered to my house. The same night.
That's crazy.
And when that crash was on the A45 dual carriageway area, and it was a bicyclist. He was riding his bicycle on the dual carriageway. I'm doing about 80 miles an hour in rush hour traffic. We're going for it, right?
Yeah. And so you and your lady friend were in the car?
No. It was my friend Ian.
Okay.
Crazy thing is, his kid rides his bicycle and he's changing lane like car changes lane. He's wearing a Parker jacket, so you can't. When you got a hood up, you can't see behind you. He has a big duffel bag on his back.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing him in the distance, and I'm too fast. I hit him. His bike almost splits in two. I see him go over. He comes into what's called a rag top kind of thing.
Yeah.
He comes into the car and he rolls back out. But he put in the roof, between the roof and the windshield, that gets pushed in and pushed into my friend Ian's face.
Oh wow!
Right. So his face is full of glass. My buddy, passions are on my left hand side, by the way. Right. So we're right hand drive, and so he's all got glass in his face. There's no skid marks. There's no me hard braking because there's just not enough time for it.
Right.
And then I pull up and run back to where the kid is. He's just looking. His eyes are open. It looked like I'd killed him.
Wow.
And so I'm like, there's no sounds coming from him, no nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Just so happens across the other carriageway, there's an ambulance that pulls over and sees everything going on. And one of my neighbors actually was on that same carriageway. She sees me, and she has a real disappointed look at me. Actually, she was hating my guts anyways, because I was just a really messed up kid in that neighborhood. But she drives by, and then he starts to make this moaning sound. So now I know he's alive. The ambulance people come out, they run across, and they basically take care of him. I found out from my buddy whose wife worked at the General Hospital in Northampton that the seat had gone up, his backside, and he broke his elbow. That's all that happened to him.
The bicycle seat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tore him up.
Oh, shit.
We laugh about it now.
Well, at least he's alive.
Yeah, at that time it was crazy. So my car gets towed. They're doing an inspection on the car.
Oh my God, you got lucky, right?
I got super lucky,
and so did he, because that could have been a lot worse.
And then the insurance, had come in, and I'm making payments, but now they say, okay, you need to pay up front. So I borrow money from my auntie in London, and I pay for the insurance right away to make sure that I'm completely covered for the accident. But the car is basically liability only.
Yeah.
Right?
They weren't going to insure you
and
anymore.
I get the car back, and it still can't, it's busted up, and I just happened to get a job at a body shop. Remember, we're still unemployed, and I had a little side job at a body shop, and I rebuilt my car, put it back together again, and I think about 7 or 8 months later, that car gets stolen and burnt out.
Wow. Sounds like Paul Hart, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy, man. But yeah, a lot of adversity in that year. So my mom calls me from America on the day of the accident. I'm at home taking a shower, washing the glass out of me. My mom calls me up and says, "Hey, son, I felt the urge to give you a call."
Wow.
She's speaking Punjabi, right? So, speaking English. She said, "I felt the urge to give you a call. Are you okay?" I said, it was just so weird that my mom gave me a call that day.
Jeez, mother's intuition, man.
Exactly, man. It was weird. I said, something was wrong. So that's why I thought I'd give you a call. I said, "Mom," and I told mom what had happened. And that's when I explained to her what was going on. And, just watching how, that was in November, actually. That happened in 92, November 92. It was 4 p.m. I think it was like November 6th or something like that.
A couple of days after my birthday.
Yeah, something like that. And it was crazy, man. Like I just started seeing my life unfold because I'm working, I'm making a lot of money, I've got cars, I'm living by myself practically. My parents are over here in America, and I got the whole place to myself.
Wow.
I mean, I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I'm having a blast. I got a beautiful.
Man, you're living the life.
I got a beautiful lady friend. And at the same time, like things are looking awesome. But then it started to unravel. Yeah. Job loss. Financial instability. Right. And now you feel insecure. You're kind of like feeling, oh gosh, I'm not the man anymore, right?
Yeah.
And the car accident, lost the badass car, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting helped out by people that are, awesome people that are just helping me out at that time. And we put that car back on the road, and 8 or 9 weeks later, somebody steals it, and burns it out, wow. and sad. But yeah, man, it was weird how my mom gave me that call, yeah. And then mom says to me, she goes, come to America.
Wow.
93, 94, something around that time. It's all a blur to me now, but come back to America.